Because as a beginner, it's going to trip you up. No doubt about that. Because when you just started to learn to play the saxophone, you don't know what to practice. You don't know when to practice. You don't know how to practice. Like, I didn't know. And it was a lot of... Hello Saxo friends, Kadrian here, the Sax Savvy Coach, bringing you the best practice tips, tools, and ideas to help you as a beginner saxophone player develop the practice habits and routines to master your saxophone faster. My purpose is to serve, motivate, and to inspire you. Are you learning to play Altissimo as a beginner saxophone player? Now, there was a time when I was trying to learn to play Altissimo, and then after a while, I stopped. It's no use trying to learn or learning Altissimo if you can't bang out your low notes on your horn easily. If you can't play your high notes, if when you try to play your high notes, you're squeaking, your palm key notes are not clean, you cannot play over the full range of your horn in a solid way from your low B all the way up to your high F or high F sharp. You should not be learning Altissimo, and you should definitely not be wasting time trying to learn Altissimo if you can't play overtones. Because the overtones are what will help to build your embouchure so that when you start to learn to play Altissimo, those Altissimo notes can come out easily. And you should definitely stop learning to play Altissimo notes if you can't play all your major and minor scales fluidly. The thing about it, if you think about it, I like to think that Altissimo notes are like the painting on a wall. And when I say painting, I mean a piece of artwork. So before you can hang a piece of painting on a wall, you need a wall. And before there's a wall, you need a foundation on which to build that wall. So you should spend time building your foundation. And your foundation involves learning your scales, your triads, your chords. Those are what are necessary before you think about playing Altissimo. Going back to the narrative is that, yes, the painting on the wall will help to beautify the house, yes, but the house doesn't need the painting to function. What makes the house function is that it has walls so that it can keep out the cold and the rain and the heat and so on, right? And then you have a kitchen so that when you're hungry, you can make a sandwich, and there's a bed to sleep when you're tired at night, and there is a bathroom to take a shower and rest yourself. So if you think of all those different apartments within your house, your scales, your arpeggios, your chords, those are like the rooms, the bed, the kitchen, the bathroom. But Altissimo is like the painting on the wall. The house can function without the painting on the wall. It helps to beautify it, but it does not take away from the functionality of the house. So what am I saying here? There are many players, a lot of the greats who have gone on. I think it was, if it's not Charlie Parker or John Coltrane, who didn't really use up the Altissimo range of his saxophone very much. Because it's not necessary to improvise, it's not necessary to play. What is necessary to play is learning those fundamentals or those foundations that I spoke about earlier, chords, your scales, and so on, because those are what you're going to be using to make great melodies. Those are what you're going to be using to improvise. Of course, when you play up in those range, it will be nice to show off that you can play up there, and it will bring about some amount of color. But like the painting on the wall, you're just going to pass by it. You're going to pass by it. When a piece of painting is in your house on the wall, sometimes you even pass by it and you don't even recognize it. But your bed, every night you're going to be sleeping in that bed. Your restroom, you will be going there to rest yourself several times. The shower, of course you will be taking a shower. So that's what you should be focusing on. And your kitchen, of course you're going to get hungry, right? And even if you don't like to cook, if it's even a sandwich, you're going to go in there to make a sandwich. So go learn your scales, learn your chords, Learn your triads. Those are the things that you should learn. And then from those, you are able to make your runs and your approach notes and your surround tones and all of those that are necessary to improvise and to play the melodies that you will play, the songs that you will play. So if you can't play those things in the regular range of your horn, you should not be focusing on Altissimo, because you will only squeak and squawk. Right? Because if you can't play your high notes without squeaking, then trying to play your altissimo notes is futile. So beginner, go practice. What should you practice? Scales. What should you practice? Your triads. What should you practice? Your chords. Those are what you should be practicing. And let's talk about scales for a minute. You need to know your major scales, your dominant scales, and your minor scales at least. Because as I learned from my mentor, that 80% of jazz, the chords that are used are your major chords, your dominant chords, and your minor chords. So those chords come from those three scales: the major, the dominant, and the minor. So those are what you should be focusing on if improvisation is your goal, or if you really want to be able to play your saxophone at a certain level. And stop wasting your time learning altissimo when you don't know the basic concepts that you should learn on your horn. Of course, if you don't know what to practice, then you're going to be distracted and you are running after the shiny objects like I was, right? Because that's a shiny object. Oh, I want to be able to play altissimo. Oh, it sounds so good. It's one of the biggest obsessions among saxophone players, among others, right? At the beginner level, the intermediate, and among some other players who are not able to play altissimo, it's like an obsession to be able to play altissimo. Like, once you can play altissimo, oh, I'm good. But if you don't have good rhythm, if your sound is atrocious, if when you play your technique is wibbly wobbly, then playing altissimo and spending a lot of time learning altissimo, you're wasting your time. So go practice. Now, if you don't know what to practice, find yourself a mentor or find yourself into a community that has a structured program that will help you to get there. Because as a beginner, it's going to trip you up. No doubt about that. Because when you just started to learn to play the saxophone, you don't know what to practice. You don't know when to practice. You don't know how to practice. Like, I didn't know. And it was a lot of trial and error. And then after a while, I figured it out. And then I started to practice. And then eventually, I got myself a saxophone mentor. And my results have tripled, quadrupled, I should say even, over a short period of time. Because I have a plan that I am following to get the growth that I need. So if you really want to 10x your growth, or to 4x or 5x, whatever x you want, go find yourself a saxophone mentor or a community that will help you in a structured way. Because when you are practicing on a daily, consistent basis and you have a plan that is structured to take you from point A to point B, you are going to be able to see results faster. So as always, Saxo friend, keep on playing. Keep on practicing and play until something happens. Peace.